And he not only has one story, but two stories for us tonight. One story is of his own making, from his own life. Another story is to help us transition into what will be intermission time. And given that it is St. Patrick's Day, what better than an Irish folk tale?
So my friend, I don't care what you say. I know for a fact that Mike's my friend. They're not. They're just not. And here's how I know. My friend John and I, my best friend, right out of college, we got a job, which is amazing. But we got a job driving and making deliveries. And doing one deliveries, cross-country deliveries. Institute of Science in Berkeley, California. There, we were with a big panel van, and we were to transport a load of genius mice from the Algernon Institute. And I'm talking about genius mice, right? We're supposed to take them all the way to St. Louis, all the way to Washington University, to their theoretical physics lab. They're going to be used there in some regard. I don't know exactly what, but we were told that these big genius mice were really sensitive mice. The Algernon Institute was concerned that we would not make it in time for the mice to come to damage from that long trip. We told them we could get them here in like 48 hours to do it right. And we did. That's what we did. We drove big panel truck filled with all these genius mice in their cages and boxes and boxes of the accoutrement, which come with the genius mice. And we did not stop we didn't stop hardly at all. We stopped for gas, which we needed. We stopped for food at convenience stores where we got the gas. And we stopped for bathrooms in the convenience stores. That's it. Aside from that, John and I switched off driving while we were driving. Which the first 3 times is awkward, but by the time you get it, it's not so bad. And we just kept going. And by the time we got to Rolla, who knows where Rolla is, right? We were almost done, and finally back in our sweet home state of Missouri. We were almost done. And it was I was driving, and we needed gas, and we needed relief, and I was jonesing for one of those microwave hoagies you can get at convenience stores, which normally aren't really food, but man, at 2 in the morning, that's what I wanted. And so we pulled off the 44 and up to this Huck's right up there on the top of the hill. We pulled off there, and I got out of the truck, we both stretched, and I said, and he said, "Give me one too." So I went in, and I got us a couple of these hoagies, and I ate them both, and I ate mine while I was waiting in line. Because, in fact, I was so hungry, I don't even think that I chewed it. I just got to acknowledge it. You know, I was still waiting in line, I got the hoagie in my hand, and suddenly, as what happens sometimes, after you've eaten something suddenly your body says, "Oh, we got to make room for this." And so I had to use the restroom. But I didn't want to take my friend's sandwich into the restroom where I'm going to set it on the floor. That's not going to happen. So I decided I'd throw it to him from the door. And then I got this stupid idea, which was, well, it's just something you do on a road trip at 2 in the morning. I took the truck key, you know, the big rental, I took the truck key, and I shoved it inside the hot sandwich that I was going to, and I wrapped it up. And I leaned out the door and said, "Hey, John, hey!" And he caught it. He goes, "Thanks." And so I just did that inside. And I went So I said, all right, let's go. John, go ahead, let's go drive. He goes, yeah, all right, sweet, give me the key. And I said, right, yeah, come on, let's get in. I got to sleep a little bit, you drive. He goes, yeah, no, give me the key. I said, seriously? And he did what I did. He ate the sandwich without chewing. And he had eaten and swallowed. And we didn't have time for this. So, I said, all right, I know this is gross, man, but you gotta put your finger down your throat, you gotta get that key back up, and we gotta get going. He said, I can't. I said, I know it's disgusting. It's the last thing you want to do next to a gas pump or anything, but you gotta do that. Come on, barf it up. He said, I can't. I said, why? And he said, well, because of God. I said, what are you talking about? And he told me. He said when he was little, like when he was 5, his grandmother, for some reason, had told him the story of Saint Bartholomew, who was a saint. He was one of the martyrs. He was beheaded by the king because of his belief in God. He said, John said, but I was 5, he said. And she said Bartholomew. I thought she said Bartholomew. And since I've been 5, I had this irrational fear that if I barf, God would take off my head. So here's the thing. It's 2 in the morning, 2:15 by now. It's 2:15 in the morning. The mice are going to die in the back of the truck. We still have to go, and my friend won't barf up the key because he thinks God's going to punish him. So what do? You go in a circle. That's what you do. And on the way back out, I had the idea. If we could do this one of those months, go down to the boat and bring the key back up, then that would be essentially barfing and we would move on with our story. And he agreed. So here it is, the truck, and we looked, and we hadn't seen it before. They closed it before we left. Cages and cages and cages of these genius intellectual mice. It was amazing. And we said, hey, you guys, help us out. But they didn't even respond. That very few of them even looked up from the type. It was except this one little cage down to the side. It's different from the others. Down the side, it had tiny little confession prayer flags across. And there was this little slack line corner. And on the inside, there were 2 little brownish gray lines sitting on the slack line, kind of doing this. And they were both tiny little Mariana catalogs. And in the corner was a miniature, little tiny little, what do you call it? A shrine to Tenzing Norgay with little bits of incense just climbing up the front. These are they're up for a good we got a box from the side that said, Algernon human. And so we looked in here and found inside this tiny little coder and the coder ring by which we communicated with the monks. And we explained to them what was going on. We explained to them what we needed from them. We were willing, and they were willing. They agreed with a couple of provisos. One, but they wanted to use GoPro footage for their blog. And second, they wanted rights for an academic paper if they were going to write one because, when you're there, even when you're this big. And so we agreed, and they wrote up this really small contract and the fine print you wouldn't believe. And we signed it, though I'm pretty sure they took advantage of somehow. It hasn't come up yet. We signed it, and then we opened up this box and kept looking, and there was all this gear and all these costumes and everything. Also, a little race car outfit. The fire retardant looking thing is big. And the helmet that locked the thing behind the stuff. And then we found the key right there. We found the key. Which was like a deep sea diver helmet. And a suit that goes with it would be the weighted boots. It had tiny little weighted boots. And a hose that ran from the helmet to a little pump. You can find there. That was weird. And so that's when we used Lance and Gary, the name of the night, right there on the stage. And Lance got to go because he won the 1, 2, 3 shoot. And so he put on the deep sea diver outfit and he climbed up on John's collarbone and he squeaked something. And he was really serious. He squeaked something. I didn't get a chance to record it, but it must have been something. And Gary was just near tears. And Lance put on the helmet and tightened it down, and then it was just an amazing fluid motion. Just nice and simple. Hold down John's jaw and just jumped down and went, oh, and John went, oh, and he kind of had that look of the person who's being too big and too hot and too cold. And he had a little hole out of his mouth. And there we knew that Gary Lance was down and he started looking for the key. And there was John was just kind of trying not to, get sick on himself, which was against religion. But he was turning a couple shades of green, and he's going, and I just stood there aside going, and every 30 seconds or so, he let out this little burp, and it smelled sort of like mouse adrenaline, on the side. And then there was a tub, a little tub. That was the signal. And John went, and he started pulling. He said, John, you can't pull. And Gary went, and he said, John, you can't. It went snap. It snapped like a yo-yo string took by an angry nut. Just snapped. And now, Lance was still there. But how much air is in the helmet? How long can a mouse last? And I gasped, John gasped, and I gasped, and Gary went, and we didn't know what to do. So this was the moment that separated us from them. Because Gary threw on that race car driver from the returning suit and put on his helmet and without a word grabbed that hose and went right down John's throat after Lance. I, on the other hand, ran back into the house. I went to their, how they have those weird food convenience store shelves? I went and got every can of Beenie-Weenies that I could find, and every can of Gavana cans, I put them all in. So I threw my debit card at the cashier and said, I'll bring it back. And when running out, Pop was saying, and he said, John, come here. And he went, oh, he's got two of these. And now, and I said, John, eat, John. I opened his mouth and went, beans on the side. Swallow them all. And we didn't know what to do. And finally, the last can dropped to the floor, and he was still there, 2 items full of beans. And right then, the hose went. My plan just started taking effect. Because John got this faraway look in his eyes. He stared in the middle distance. He was seeing something. He went, I said, you all right? He said, he started doing this slow motion lombardo right there. And he put one hand up on the gas pump and one hand on the truck. He went, off the noise. They won't touch. Couldn't believe they survived. You clean them up a little bit, you put them back into their cage, put the cage in the back. You come back in the front. John was driving, although he was more comfortable. He was driving, and right before we put him back in the cage, Lance squeaked something. Again, I didn't have time. I remembered I didn't have time to decode right there, but he squeaked something. And then we put him back and we closed him in the And on the way home, I didn't speak. I decoded what Lance said. This thing, this hero mouse, had said, at the moment of his glory, at the moment of this achievement, and it said, he had said, with friends like us, who needs enemas? I mean, really, come on. Genius mice. That's the best he could do. It's not even funny. That's just gross. I told him, mice aren't funny.